This is the Aqara Cube, and it is a creative way to control your smart devices without having to use your phone or your smart speaker. Smart buttons are also a convenient option, but are often limited to 1 or 2 inputs, so they're good for controlling one device, like a light or a plug. The Aqara Cube offers 6 unique actions to control your different devices, and today, I'm going to review it for you. Hey folks, welcome back to Tech and More Tech. As always, if you want a more detailed written review, head on over to techandmoretech.com or check the link in the description below. Like I mentioned, the Aqara Cube has 6 unique gestures to control your different devices. You can double tap on it, you can push it, you can rotate it flatly, you can flip it 90 degrees, you can flip it 180 degrees, and you can shake it. But first you have to set it up, and thankfully that's very easy. It comes with this little metal tab that you can use to sort of pry the back of the cube off. There's a little sort of notch that you can put it in there. It does take a little bit of force, so don't feel like you're gonna break anything. The cube is very sturdy, just kind of keep pushing, and eventually you hear the clips pop out, and then you can take the back off. In there you'll find the battery that powers the cube, which lasts 2 years according to Aqara. And you'll find a little button that says reset, and that's what you use to sync your device. Hold this down for 5 seconds and you'll see a blue LED flash a couple times. Once it flashes like 3 times, you know it's ready to be synced, and you'll hear your Aqara hub say this.
Child device connected.
Yes, you will need an Aqara hub for this device to work. It is a Zigbee device, so it connects directly to their hub, and because of the unique nature of the device, it isn't really natively compatible with Google Assistant, HomeKit, or Alexa. Those 3 ecosystems basically just don't have those inputs in part of their sort of input list, so they're not able to sort of do anything with it. But there is a way to get it to work with HomeKit, which I'll explain later in the video. Now you may assume that the Cube is a portable device that you take from room to room because of its mobile nature. But taking it from room to room will really kind of more depend on how you have your smart home set up and how much time you spend in different rooms. For example, now that I work from home all the time, just like pretty much everyone else, I spend the majority of my day in my home office, in this room that you see around me. But then once I'm done with work around 5 or whatever, I go to the living room and I spend more time there. So it does, for my situation, make sense for me to take this with me from room to room. However, if you have a different setup, for example, if you spend all your time in one room anyways, then you can just always leave it in there. Or if you have the majority of your smart home devices in a single room, then you can leave it in there as well. Having 6 unique gestures to one device is kind of both good and bad. The good part is you have a lot of options. The bad part is if you don't use some of them often, you might forget what they are. Or maybe that's just my bad memory. As an example of things you can do with it, you can flip it 90 degrees to turn some lights on to a certain color. You can flip it 180 degrees to turn those lights off. You can push it to turn other lights on or create whole scenes and automations as well. For example, you can double tap it in the evening to turn all your lights off before bed, or in the morning you just shake it a little bit and it turns all your lights on. The only gesture that didn't work exactly the way I kind of wanted it to is going to be the rotation, the part where you kind of just rotate it on its flat side. And that's because if you just do it as a regular gesture, one rotation will trigger one specific thing, like turning a light on. That works most of the time and that's fine. But then the idea of being able to sort of twist it as a light sort of gradually gets brighter or less bright, that isn't something that can be quite implemented yet. Maybe in the future we'll be able to do that, but right now we can't. At least not in the way that I'm showing right now. As I've mentioned many times, responsiveness and reliability are the 2 biggest sort of criteria that a smart device has to have. It means it needs to work all the time, or at least almost all the time, and it has to be able to do these things pretty quickly. Now, just being able to turn something on or off within the Aqara ecosystem, it's nice and quick, no issues. Once you add the sort of HomeKit hack, even then, it's still pretty quick, perfectly reasonable considering it has to kind of do multiple things to get there. Honestly, the only real issue I have with the device is the fact that it is limited to Aqara's ecosystem. And that's not entirely Aqara's fault. I mean, I'm sure they want it to be HomeKit compatible and Alexa compatible, but at the moment those ecosystems just don't offer those kind of gesture inputs. Now I did mention there is a way of getting this to work with HomeKit devices. I'm going to show you how to do that now. All you need is your iPhone and the Eve app. It doesn't work through the Home app, at least I'm not able to get it to work. Theoretically, you should be able to get it to work with the shortcuts automation feature, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't get it to work. But in the Eve app, it works like a charm. The trick to getting this to work with HomeKit is by utilizing the light in the Aqara hub that you have. Basically, what you do is each one of those gestures, you have it turned on the Aqara light to a certain brightness for a short period of time. As an example, if I flip it 90 degrees, it'll turn the light brightness on to 5%, and then it'll wait 2 seconds, and then it'll turn it back off. So what you'll do is in the Aqara app, you'll create an automation, and then each automation will be one different type of input from this device, like a flip 90, flip 180, a shake, whatever. Each one of those will turn on the light on the Aqara Hub to a specific brightness for a short period of time, each one being unique. So 5% brightness, 7% brightness, 9, 11, whatever number you want. So you'll open up the Eve app, you'll go to automation, and on top you got rules. That's what they call their automations. And you'll create a new one. So if you scroll down to the bottom, hit on add rule. The trigger is gonna be that Aqara Hub light turning on. So you go to add trigger, you go to other value, and you select wherever your light is. Mine's the hallway, and hallway light turn on. So right here, we're seeing that the trigger is that light turning on. Hit on next. The condition is gonna be the brightness of that light. So I'm gonna go back to hallway light, brightness. It's gonna be, let's say, that 7% that I set for one of these gestures. Hit on done, that's all you gotta do. And then scenes, and here's where you're gonna create a new scene. Here's where you're gonna choose what you want this gesture to do within HomeKit. So for example, do you want it to turn on all the lights in your office? In which case you'll go to add scene, add actions, office for example, turn on all my lights. And on, there we go, add. You'll add the scene, and from there, next time you do this, basically what it'll do is it'll turn on the Aqara Hub light to a certain percent, and then that will, because the light turned on, it'll trigger the Eve automation. It'll see that it's at that certain percent, and then it'll trigger the HomeKit scene that you set up. So that's how you do it. It's not super difficult, but it is a little bit more involved than just a sort of plug and play type of controller. At the moment, you can't get this to work with Google Assistant or Alexa, and that's because within their applications, they don't allow device settings or device states to be triggers for automations. It can only be like either like a motion sensor or like a command in Google Assistant, which is super lame, but that's their fault. So all of this brings us to the golden question. Should you buy this? At $20, it's not particularly expensive, so it's a fun little sort of niche product to get. And it works, as advertised. But again, it is a really niche product. Firstly, you need to have an Aqara Hub. But until HomeKit or Google Assistant or Alexa implement the gestures as sort of native commands, I would say only get this if you are willing to tinker with it to get it to work within your HomeKit home. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, hit that like and subscribe button for plenty more videos to come. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them down below. I will get to them as best I can. My question for you guys is, have you used this? Have you gotten it to work with Google or Alexa? Any luck? Have you found other ways of getting to work with HomeKit? Was that easier? Is it harder than what I just suggested? Please let me know down in the comments below. If you guys have any other cool devices like this that you think would be worth reviewing, let me know. I can take a look at them. But until next time, stay safe and see ya.